Today we're making a very simple bird carving. I already made this project a couple times before, just to make sure that all the steps are in the easiest possible order, and also so that the individual cuts are as beginner friendly as possible. And for this project you're going to need a piece of wood about 1 × 1 inches thick, 25 × 25 millimeters. The length just needs to be enough so that you can hold on to it. The actual bird is going to be only about 1.5 inches. Then you're going to need a knife. I'm also going to use a little bit of a bigger knife to make this slightly faster. And then you need a pencil. The first thing we're going to do is make one of these edges flat. That's going to be the bottom of the bird. Like that. Next we're going to make a V-cut on the top. So this is the bottom, this is going to be the top. It's going to be the tail like that. And then the back like that. And then we want to leave a little bit of room over here for the head. Like that. Next, we're gonna make 2 curves like this. We're gonna make the head pointy. And for that, just draw a line across from the top corner to the bottom here in the middle. And we're going to want to cut the wood so that there's just a single edge over here. And then a slight curvature like this. That's good. Next we're going to take off this corner, like that. And then we're going to make a curvature over here. This is going to be the beak of the bird. We're going to make a curve like this, and then just a circular curve that connects the tail to the underside of the head over here. Something like that. And we're gonna cut off this bit. On the bottom here, rough cuts are very useful. But then closer to the beak, I want to be making sweeping cuts so that I leave enough wood over here. Then we're going to carve the wings, and for that we're going to draw a line from this corner to this line, or even a little bit further. Like that. Same on the other side. And then we're going to make stop cuts. Like that. And also we want to connect this little inside corner all the way over here. So we're going to make some V cuts. And we're going to remove the line we just made. Be careful not to chip the wood. I just sliced a little piece of it off, but it doesn't matter at this point. like that. And like that. Next we're going to do a similar thing for the tail. Just stop cuts like this, pressing the blade directly into the wood and then cutting from this direction. And as you can see here, I'm extending this cut all the way around the bird. Over here, closer to the bottom, you can bring that cut slightly more to the center this way, because the bottom is going to be curved like this, similarly to the front. And you also don't want to make this V cut too tight, because then it's going to be harder to cut deeper and deeper. And that's why I'm cutting a pretty decent sized bit over here on the extra side also. Here I'm just trying to see that everything is somewhat symmetrical. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. Now we have a little bit more room to work over here, which makes it easier to carve the underside of the wings. And that's just going to be either a straight line or a slightly curved line like this. You can decide. A straight line is a bit easier to make, so you can start with a straight line over here, and then if it feels easy you can make a slight curvature over here. It's good to mark the spots, because otherwise they might end up very asymmetrical. I'm going to take off a little bit of this to make it more symmetrical. And then we can make these sweeping cuts. To remove the line from both sides. And at the same time we can also make this slightly more curved. Now we can also remove all of these sharp edges from everywhere else too. So just tiny shallow cuts. And we can make the figure a little bit smoother. This inside corner right here can be made round. So by removing these corners, we can create this kind of a round stop cut or V cut. And now you can also slim down the tail if it seems too wide. These very shallow push cuts are useful for making things a little bit rounder. So instead of cutting like this to make a deep cut. I'm cutting almost in line with the wood to remove very small chips. I'm putting a little bit more curvature on the back of the head to separate the head slightly more from the body. Just a few sweeping cuts like this, and there's already a little distinction. Then I'm going to make a few V cuts on the underside of the wings to create a distinction over here also. Like that. And then I'm just rounding the lower edge a little bit, again with very small and shallow cuts to make the wing stand out more and to make the shape of the stomach and the sides a little bit nicer. There's basically one more thing left to do before we cut this off entirely, and we can define it a little better with these sweeping cuts. Very small sweeping cuts like this. Especially in my case from the sides, this needs a little bit of slimming down. I want to make the beak sharper. I'm still removing a little bit of wood from over here because I want this part to be smooth and round when I take this bird off the extra bit of wood. Here I'm just refining what we've already made. I'm not making any more parts. Everything's quite close to finished already. But if you see some bumps or weird angles or asymmetrical parts like over here, this wing is slightly longer, these are the things that you can fix. Okay, I'd say that's done. Only took me about half an hour. It's a very nice little carving project. Hope you enjoyed.